There we go. Okay, that's going. Let's get this. I won't get through a pile that large in an hour and a half. Let's get to work. How's everybody doing tonight? What is going on? All right. Good Lord. There's a giant barb on that ring. Let's see how common those barbs are. I only want to use them if I actually need them. So, how's everybody doing tonight? My name's Sean. I run mailworks.com, where I design and sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories. And I make chainmail. And tonight I'm going to get started on a Ringception piece. Now, you finally caught part of his stream. What's going on, Rotten Pieces? How you doing? So I am starting a Ringception piece. Now, a Ringception piece is when you use rings like this to make a ring out of a chainmail weave, and then you weave those rings of chainmail weaves together. I hope that makes sense. And I am doing it just to use up these rings. You're good running around at work? How are you doing? I'm all right. Got... Let's see here. What all I get done today? I did some edging on the Finnegan's Wake flag, or the Finnegan's Wake inlay, earlier today. I used up some rings. The remainder of the rings that I had for a cube. I have 3 more pounds on the way, so I'm not real worried about it, but I used up what rings I had and just set that project aside for now. And what else? No, that was it. That was, yeah. I did order some more rings for the Finnegan's Wake inlay, some black rings for the outlining everything, and for some green rings, because I've got a lot of green rings to add for the background, and I'm just crossing my fingers hoping they color match. I have enough yellow to finish the inlay. I have enough bright aluminum to finish the inlay, but the black and green I'm running out of. And then I've got plans for a border and little loops for a curtain rod to run through, basically, and then doing some dags across the bottom would be cool, just to give it that nice finished look. So hopefully I ordered enough rings and I don't run into this problem, but I am going to try and weave something called sandworm. Now, names in chainmail are pretty meaningless, right? You can call anything, any weave, anything you want. There are generally accepted names for weaves that make it easier for other people to identify. But if you go to all the resources like mailartisans.net or I would say the Ringlord forum, but it's not there anymore. So chainmailers.com or any of the groups, anytime someone has a name for a weave, that weave has a name that was made up, right? European 4-in-1 and European 6-in-1 are really the 2 major historical weaves. And everything after that has mostly been made up since, I want to say, the 70s. The sandworm weave is a chain of full Persian with a chain of box around it. So I'm going to make myself a little strip of full Persian here. and I'll put some box around it, and then I want to see how rigid it is, because if I can make a long enough chain to where I can turn it into a ring, then I want to try and do that. And if it's the right size, then I want to make a few of them. So yeah, there's a few of the worm weeds. There's like fireworm and windworm and sandworm and earthworm. No, I don't know if earthworm's one. I'm just kidding. But a few of the worm weaves that are... I've only ever done sandworm. And I have a get back whip for my motorcycle that is fireworm, I think. But I bought that off of Master Link's Mail, who does bike shows around in my area. So about once a year, like, I don't know if it could be a swap meet, could be a bike rally, but he'll go and set up his booth, and I'll hop on the Harley and ride an hour out to see him. So yeah, there's like 12 dragon named weaves. Yeah, and they're all, I mean, the wonderful thing about chainmail right now is that you have more people making it using more materials with a larger knowledge base than at any point in history. So you get to experience this chainmail renaissance going on right now that I would say has been going on for the last 30 years. And things just keep improving. Sounds like a great day. Yeah, I like when I am able to go and support another mailer. There is there's enough strife in life that, you know, getting visited by someone else who loves and appreciates what you do, that, you know, just can really make your day. So I've visited Sassy Lass Studios down in Chicago at an Oddities and Curiosities Expo. So that was fun. And then visited Master Link's Mail. I've seen him. Who else? I'm trying to think. No one else recent. Those are the two most recent in the last couple years. But if anyone was like, hey, I'm setting up a booth and it's just a town away, yeah, I'd go out there. I don't got nothing better to do. You know, you try to do that with Steamboat Garage and Mischief Mail if your schedule allows it. Right on. Is that Florida? Is that where they're at? I don't remember where everyone is. It's one of those things where there are too many mailers to keep track of, so I try to... I mean, I just, you know, would like to meet other chainmail artists and see what they make in person, because you can hand a bunch of chainmail artists the same ring, the same material, everything, and they will all make something different. So it's pretty fun. They're based in Orlando, and it's 45 minutes away. Right on. Okay, so this is a very loose chain right now, and I've made this once before, so bear with me as I try to figure out what it is that I'm doing. But this should make it pretty rigid, if I remember correctly, and we're going to see how rigid it is. Because if if it's loose enough that I can make a ring out of the chain, then we'll proceed forward. If it's not, then I don't know what we're going to do. But we'll figure it out. I've got a dozen other things. I'm narrowing down my pile slowly. Right? So I've got a couple dice bags here that need a little work. They need a little finessing. Okay, I think I'm doing this right. Maybe not. I might have to look up the instructions on this one. Unless this goes over here. Oh my gosh, my child is screaming again. It's like, I curse the day that kid was ever given a screen. Okay, I didn't give him a screen. His aunt gave him a phone. And now he's been... That was when he was like 1. And he's been glued to a screen ever since, so... Am I doing this right? That goes through there. Those go through there. Oh. I'm not doing this right. Just in case anyone wondered, I was not... Ah. Okay. All right. Have a good one. Appreciate you stopping by. So, got those. Well, crap. I thought I could do this from memory, but hang on. All right. The problem with trying to look up this weave is that no. Hey, no, never mind. That was easy. I have another picture. That one sucks. Okay, this one's okay. I'm going to start over. Anyway. This ring size, I believe that this is pretty rigid, and so I may just be wasting my time putting this all together. We'll see. No. make sure I have this oriented correctly. That's there. Oh my goodness. This is ridiculous. I tried to learn a weave one time. It was Moorish Rose on stream, and it did not go well, which is fine. I don't mind killing a stream just to figure something out. But if you good people do hang out, we may end up with something cool here. Okay, I think I got it. Now let's see if we can duplicate that. So if I can... If I can get this right, and this is malleable enough to use, right, to turn into another ring, then I screwed that first one up. I love it when my pliers slip. It's so much fun. All right. What am I doing wrong here? I'm doing it backwards for starters. I give up, man. I'm gonna have to sit and work this one out. All right, not the worst thing to ever happen. All right. Oh. I wonder. Nope. Doesn't make any sense. Why it would go down there. It doesn't. Okay. I'm looking at this and I swear I started it out the right way. Which is only slightly annoying. Okay. All right. I think we're getting somewhere. That only took way too long, but that's okay. Okay, so you can see this is the full Persian chain, and this is the box that goes around it, the box weave. And the trick is, if I'm looking at this correctly, is that these are like single units of box chain added around the full Persian. So, and that doesn't feel terribly rigid. We'll see how this goes. Because like I said, if we can make a ring out of it, that'll be fun connecting that. But what I think would be a killer idea, right? Is to take rings of sandworm and rings of full Persian, and then weave them together to make one of the little dragon scale pine cone things. Just because I don't know how many rings I have here and how many rings I can make, but if you've never seen one of the little dragon scale pine cones, it's not a ton of rings, right? But it would make for a pretty cool sculpture, I think. And the thing that I'm learning, I don't know if anyone has seen my video on sculptures, the ones that I have recently done. Like the more rigid the weave you're using, the better it's going to retain its shape, right? So that's what I'm going to be practicing moving forward. All right. It's like full Persian is a good weave to, if you use the right ring size. Full Persian's pretty rigid, and because I used Byzantine to make some rings out of, and that did not, like, it just wasn't that great, you know what I mean? My project came out okay. This might actually fucking work. Okay. So. In the future, I'll have I will have machine cut rings, right? And I will weld them, and I will make nice high-end sculptures. But for right now, we're just doing a little, we're getting rid of some rings is what we're doing. And I'm gonna see if we can turn it into something kind of cool. So yeah, I love this weave. Okay, so that's what it turns into, right? And this is like, there's a curve there. This can, we'll lengthen this full Persian section so we don't get lost. Oh, I'm so sorry. If anybody's commenting. There we go. Making a new jelly cube for a D&D campaign. If I consider it a spiral like an infinity style twist. I have not, Toucan Joe. Alright. What am I doing? Okay, so I'm going to... I don't know like how big of a ring that is going to make, or how rigid it's going to be. We'll see. We'll kind of just play this by ear. That, got all these random ring sizes mixed together. Okay. So, I was gonna say to Toucan Joe, there is a fidget toy using something called an infinity weave, or I'm trying to think of the actual name of it. It's like an infinity bracelet or something. And like the whole thing just spirals into itself. It's pretty cool. I've never made one of those, so I couldn't tell you anything more about it, but I can point you in the direction of people who have made them. What ring sizes are these, and are these just mixed in? I'm sure it helps a lot if the rings came slightly bent, so you only had to do the bend back. Yeah, these are, that's about as good as you get. And a lot of people spend time opening their rings and pre-closing their rings, and I don't. Nothing against it. It's just, I will do that on certain occasions. But I have, like, what'll happen is I'll go and I'll pre-close 100 rings, right? And then it's time to weave them. And the next thing I know, I haven't woven any rings because I keep closing them over and over again. So I like to pick up one ring, open it, close it, call it a day, move on to the next one. So, but just because I lack the ability to do that doesn't mean that it should stop other people from doing it, right? There's no wrong way to do, well, no, that's not true. There is a wrong way to do some things in chainmail, but for the most part, just largely do whatever you want. Whatever technique works best for you. I feel like so many people do this now. There'd be a market for pre-opened rings for wholesale. Yeah. There you go. I know that a lot of people have apprentices or ring monkeys that they have do a lot of the opening and closing of their rings as they teach them weaves and projects and pass on a little skill, or pass on a little knowledge and skill in exchange for some completed projects. So, okay, it's bendy. Now let's try and bend it all the way around into a ring. Alright, I gotta change position. Now that's a job. Oh, that's a job you need? The ring monkey? Getting paid to open rings sounds like an ADHD person's dream. It can be, I'm sure. Oh, dang it, Bobby. What am I doing? There we go. All right. I couldn't. Yeah, no. That's not something I can do. Oh, what have I done here? I had a ring going around here. Okay, like so. Yes. Hey, babe, how you doing? I spent way too long figuring out or making sure that I was doing this weave right. But that's okay, I finally figured it out. Or did I? I think I just screwed it up twice in a row. Oh, that's right. Alright. There we go. So I don't know with dragon scale, it's very aspect ratio sensitive, right? So I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull this off, but let's see. Let's see if I can find an image of the dragon scale pine cone. And there we go. Ooh, there's even a tutorial over on chain mailers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 79. Yeah. So to even start out, I would have to make 8 of these. And it's, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Where's my stream at? Okay, so, and this is kind of a ring hefty weave, right? Which is fine. I've got a lot of rings to use up. Like this is one of the ring piles that I ordered that I didn't know what I was going to do with. I didn't have any plans for it when I purchased it years ago. And so it's just been sitting in my basement. So if I can get something cool out of it, great. If not, I tried. Thank you for the dino. Thank you for the follow. But this will probably take me a few days. Oh, I hate this song. Where's the thumbs down button? Thumbs down button. This. Dislike track. There we go. Play Dippy Hippie Shake. Whatever that is. There. That's much more tolerable. Alright. Ow, my nose. Okay, so I don't know. Like I said, dragon scale is very aspect ratio sensitive. You got to have the right ring sizes. Does anybody know what I'm talking about when I say dragon scale? Any other chainmail artists here? Would you like to see an example of what I'm talking about? It's a weave that takes 2 different ring sizes, and it's very cool looking, but I mean, it has its own complication. I had trouble getting this one started, so I don't even know if I'd be able to get a... I don't know if I'd be able to make these rings and then also turn it into another weave. So, we'll see. Just, I think that I can do it, and I think that a pine cone made out of a bunch of rings made from rings would be kind of cool. Okay. So, what is that? A third? Half? Are we halfway? It's going to have to be... This is like not nearly as rigid as I thought it was going to be. So this actually might not end up working. That's okay. We press on. Gonna make the internal full Persian chain, and then the single units of box along the outside, which I don't remember doing last time I made this weave, but it's working, and it looks like what I saw on the Male Artisan's homepage, so I think I'm doing it right. And it's like, it doesn't... like I was saying, I need to use these rings up for something. And if I can do something cool with them, great. If I can't do a pine cone, I wonder what else I could do. I'll have to think about that. And this is... trying to think what I got over here. I got the chainmail display base for something. Maybe if this pine cone is big enough, I can put it in the chainmail display base. We'll see. The Finnegan's Wake inlay, which the rings that I need, I'm out of, so I've got to... I've got some more ordered as of tonight, so... They will be on their way soon. Got some other smaller projects I ordered rings for, but other than that, I've got 2 jelly cubes I'm working on. I've got a couple dice bags I want to kind of finesse, right? Like, that's cool and all. It's not quite right. I want to work on it some more. And then I will actually put that up for sale. What else have I got over there? The 2 titanium pieces, 1 jelly cube, and 1 dice bag that I need to anodize when I get an anodizer. Got some belts I got to take apart. 2 of the belts are being taken apart, and 1 is going to be lengthened with some leather ends are going to be added to either end of the belt, right? Is that, can I reach that one? No, flogging molly belt buckle. This connection right here, I don't care for. So we're going to make a leather insert here, and then the end for belt loops, you know, we're going to make a regular leather belt end. So other than that, everything else is like big projects that I'm slowly working on. My pile of stuff that is my basement project pile, that is all like, it's dwindling down. I still have several weeks to months worth of work. So I'm not too worried about running out of stuff to do anytime soon. I wonder what this was. I wonder what I was making when I made this. Oh, you know what? I think this is the attempted Moorish rose, right? Yeah. So Moorish rose is a really difficult weave. And I sat down and I tried to learn it on stream. It was just a disaster. All right. But there is one really cool Moorish rose piece, and it's a chainmail recreation of Van Gogh's Starry Night. And I haven't done a video on it yet, but it was done by Lisa Ellis. And Lisa Ellis is listed in the Mailworks app. She's got some tutorials on YouTube under, I think her YouTube name is The Armorer's Wife. And she's done some incredible work. There's one with a giant barb on it again. But I saw but that Starry Night piece in chainmail is all Moorish rose, and like I've seen really cool inlays that are European 4-in-1 inlays that have great designs on them. But when people take a really difficult weave and then make an amazing piece out of it, it's just, it blows your mind. So it makes me feel like I'm just not that good. And I've been doing this for a really long time. So I'd like to think that I am at least okay. But then people come out with these just jaw-dropping pieces, and it's like, oh, holy crap. There goes all my self-esteem out the window. But I'm working on it. I'm working on, like, I have some stuff I want to make that I think is going to be really cool. And, like, this is part of that process. I made a couple sculptures before, made a couple Ringception pieces, and once I, like, finesse this process, I think I'll be words. Wow, words are hard. I think I'll be churning out some cool stuff eventually. Oh, I was going to mention, today is the anniversary of a enormous attack on Abu Ghraib, which is a prison in Iraq, which is where I was stationed for a year. And 20 years ago, it was a really bad night. Some of my military buddies were posting about it earlier. We had this, it was a truck full of explosives, tried to rush the gate, and it blew up like 30 feet away. And we had a bunch of casualties from that. And the whole, the whole night everybody was working in a mass casualty incident at the hospital where I worked, but it was crazy. We still had the Marines there at that time. This might... That was, I'm trying to remember when the wall fell down. Okay, so if that's the southern road, right? Then the northern wall, I believe it was. So Abu Ghraib is a square compound. It's about a mile on each side all the way around. And it's defended by a large wall. And the British originally built it, and then at some point, part of the wall was torn down or got destroyed by, I don't remember what. But that mile-long section of wall blew over during a windstorm. So we had some tanks out there guarding our hospital and the detainees and all that fun stuff. It was exciting times. Definitely left a lasting impression on me. It wasn't my only deployment, but I wouldn't do it again. It's one of those things. It's like, I did 2 deployments. I'm good. I don't want to do any more. It's like my first deployment was cool. We got to do cool stuff. We got to see cool things. My second deployment was like living in the barracks in the States. Everything was very rigid. You could not do anything cool at all. And by cool, like, I mean, like, you couldn't go on convoys. You couldn't do anything. Hey, Richard, how you doing? Hey, Willie. So, second deployment, and the unit I was stuck with, it's the 31st Combat Support Hospital out of El Paso, Texas. Trash unit, trash group of people. So, during 07, I'm sure everyone there has changed. The name of the hospital has probably changed at this point, but I was not impressed by the caliber of individuals that they had there. Not all of them were bad, just a bunch of the ones that... A bunch of the grown-ass men that I worked with were... What do you call it? They needed their mommy, is what they needed, and they expected someone to be their mommy. So, second deployment, not as fun as my first. I'm talking like 30-year-olds that need their handheld to get their job done and clean their room. They were living like pigs. Anyway, enough shit talking about other units. I'm doing all right. Just reminiscing. 20 years ago was a really bad night for me and my unit in Abu Ghraib, is all. One of my fellow veterans was posting about it, and I was like, oh yeah, that happened. I have a tendency not to dwell on the events of my deployments. So I tend to not think about them for long periods of time. And then someone will post something, it's like, oh yeah, oh, that did happen. Is it box chain? It's called Sandworm. And so it's a strip of full Persian with box chain around it. We're going to turn it into a circle. This is actually, like, it's... In order for this, like, the circumference of this is a whole lot smaller than I thought it would be. Right? So if I were to make a lot of these and try and use them for dragon scale, the size of a dragon scale ring, there's 2 ring sizes in dragon scale, and they are one is much larger than the other, right? Anyway. You couldn't see it too well? Yeah, you can't really, like, unless I zoomed in on my overhead camera over here, right? That would, it's, you know, it's just a chainmail chain that... You know, I am going to try and get a better tripod for my phone, because it's going to be a bit before I hit 10,000 followers. But once I hit 10,000, then I'll be able to have my regular display that I usually use for all my streaming over on my computer instead of on my phone. So it'll be a slightly better picture, and I need some more lighting, and this being a chain, you know, it's kind of difficult to see anyway. See, that's like it. It feels like the circumference of this wants to be pretty small. While maintaining its rigidity. So, we'll see. Finally opened the TikTok shop for your stuff. Right on. I've got a TikTok shop. I've never sold anything through there. I don't know. Whenever, like, I've got my main website, and whenever I try to integrate my website into third-party platforms, it just ends up being a headache, and TikTok's no different. So, like, I loaded up a bunch of my stuff, and then it said I was out of stock on everything, and I had to go hunt down where it said it was saying everything was out of stock, and like, I have some 300 some odd items, so I don't think I will have a TikTok shop for much longer. But congratulations, I hope it serves you well. I know it works for some people. But I've never, like, I've only ever sold stuff off my website, right? I had everything listed on Etsy, and that, I sold 2 things on there, but Etsy charged me a ridiculous amount of money just to sell on their platform, to the point where, like, I had to pay to sell those items, right? That's not, you know, that is antithetical to what I want. Nothing yet, but we'll see. Well, good luck. I wish you well. I want people to have all the success. And maybe one day me too. Alright, I'm going to have to find a different weave for this because like I said, Dragon Scale takes 2 ring sizes, and I want rigidity in the rings. And so this is not, I don't think, going to be rigid enough. But that's okay. Plenty of other things to try. This is almost, no, I was gonna say it's almost good enough for a wallet chain, but it's not. Right, like, see how these rings hang like that? That would be annoying to have on a wallet chain. So I don't typically make box at all. Because I don't, unless it's taut, T-A-U-T, as in pulled tight. When it hangs loosely, it doesn't lay right, and I don't care for it. See that? I think I'm trying to think, okay? There is what's called aspect ratio. And it's one of the measurements that we use to determine what rings can be used for what weaves, right? And so this is a lot less rigid than I was expecting. I did not expect a diameter this small, a circumference this small. I was expecting like a 6-inch, you know, ring, much larger, right? So I'm gonna have to figure out something else for these rings. I'm gonna connect this end, and then maybe we'll do something else with it later. But here's the thing, right? So there's not a lot. If this were just like a regular chainmail weave, the diameter is too small and the gauge of the ring is too big, right? So you just can't use it in a lot of weaves. Like if I made a couple of these, I could maybe do JPL, which is just a name for a chainmail weave that is a little spirally. But then I would just have a chain of JPL, which cool, but not what I'm going for. So I'm going to close this up and then hopefully I do this right. Connecting the ends of chainmail weaves, usually fairly simple procedure, fairly straightforward, but full Persians, the Persians, the full Persian, half Persian, 3-in-1, half Persian, 4-in-1, always just want to be a pain. Full Persian is fun to connect. I think I'm doing it right. So it'll be nice to get this on the first try, but I tried doing this the other day. What was I working on? Oh, it was the sculpture of my logo that I was doing. And closing that up was such a pain in the butt. All right, one more. See if we can put this. These are 16 gauge 3/8 rings, so they're not too tight. All right, let's see if we can like finish this ring up. and I don't know. What would I do with a giant strand of JPL made from giant rings? I guess is my question. This might just go on the windowsill with all the rest of my chainmail stuff, and it may not get used in anything ever. But I would hate for that to happen. Sandworm is a cool weave, right? Full Persian with box around it. Like, is it the coolest weave? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But it's definitely unique. I mentioned early on in the stream, so we are in a renaissance of the development of new weaves and new materials and people coming up with new designs, and it's never ending. We've got more people working with, more people learning chainmail, working with more materials than at any point in time in history. Coming up with more designs than ever. And it's cool to have been a part of that and watched it happen, you know? And then try and promote chainmail so that other people can learn it. Like, even if I fail at making whatever I'm working on these streams, it's like someone came in here and was like, oh, that's cool. I want to learn how to do that. And then they get pointed in the right direction, and off they go. Okay. For now, this is just going to be one of those things that I've made that is something. I have a few of those. But I do like the idea of a Ringception pine cone, right? A pine cone made from rings made of rings, right? Yeah. That actually, okay, this came together pretty easily. So I'm impressed. Am I missing something here? Oh, I am. Okay, I lied. I'm not done. It came together right up until this point. "17 years for you." What am I making? Give me 2 seconds and I will have completed it, and I can show you. So what I'm trying to make is a Ringception piece. And Ringception is when you take a chainmail weave and you turn it into a ring and you make a bunch of them, and then you weave those rings of chainmail together. And it's just kind of a meta concept of chainmail. And it's fun, and you can make some cool stuff with it. And so I was trying to make a ring from a weave called Sandworm. There we go. Still, that came together pretty easily. But it's cool, right? But I don't know, like, what I was planning on using it for. I think this is, the diameter of this is a little too small for what I was going to use it for, I think. So I hope that answers your question. But yeah, there it is. That's pretty cool. So I would make, the goal is to make a bunch of these and then weave them all together into something, right? But I don't think you could even make 4-in-1 out of this. JPL maybe, which would be cool, but then I just have a chain of JPL for some reason. So maybe, I wonder, I've got some 16 gauge 5/16. You can make a shell. What is a shell? Alright, but that is that. For anyone, it is a chain of full Persian surrounded by box chain. And it's not surrounded by box chain. None of the box chain is connected. But it's like individual units of box chain going through each unit of full Persian. It's kind of weird. Shawl. Oh, a shawl? A chainmail shawl would be quite heavy. What time is it? 9:44? Do I start on one more of these for the next 15 minutes? Like, this is going to go somewhere. I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. You know? Like, it's cool. For anyone. Do I have... No, I don't. A good sensory toy. You want to see a sensory toy? Check this bad boy out. These are so much fun. All right. I don't want to give up on this just yet. I want to make another one of these. So I'm just going to work for the next little bit and BS. You have a 10 by 10 by 10 now? This is the other one I was working on. This is... I had a 7 by 7 and I added 5 by 5 and now this is at like 13. Right? And I've got 3 more pounds of these rings running, and if I did my math correctly, it's going to be 15 by 15 or 18 by 18. I don't remember. So, anyway, that is my next one. This one, I'm taking, this one is at 14 right now, and I'm taking it out to 20 by 20. I've got some rings for this, but that is a grind. This is a grind. I don't want to work on it right now. I wanted to work on something else tonight. Not yet, Propsmith. My goal is to have a coil and cutting section by the end of this year. So, and I will put that. Excuse me. I don't know where I'm going to put it yet. I don't want to put it in my house. I don't really have another place to put it appropriately. That is good for it. Hi, Deadpool Scan. Did I say that? So So these are all old rings that I bought from TRL 2 decades ago. And I put them together thinking I was going to make stuff with them. And no, not really. I didn't do that. I just kind of let them sit there for forever. And so now I am trying to come up with cool stuff to make with them. And so far I have made a sandworm ring. You're like, why a sandworm ring? Someone has been whipped by the end of a coil while making it. It's both good and bad. Yeah, I have made my own rings in the past and hand cut thousands. Right? But a lot of the rings that I currently have are machine cut. And I need saw cut rings for a lot of what I want to do moving forward. So I'm trying to use up most of them. And we're getting somewhere. This looks awesome. Yeah, it came out cool. It's a little, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. It's not rigid enough. The circumference is a little smaller than what I was expecting. So it's something. I'm gonna make another one. So maybe we can make a JPL chain out of it, you know? I do prefer saw cut over machine cut for a lot of the stuff I plan on making moving forward. I'm trying to use up all my saw cut all my old rings. I want to get rid of them and move towards a setup where I know exactly what what ring size either to order or to make. Because one of the reasons I want to get rid of these rings is because these rings are so old that they are from before when they're from before the ring lord having changed the way they measured their rings. And so the way the ring lord decided to true up their rings. So every time I go to order more rings for a project, they're a different size now. Right? So I can't get the same size again. And I kept running. I ran into that like 3 or 4 times. And so that led to a lot of me not working on projects. It led to me not finishing projects and just having them laying around for years. And it got frustrating. And finally, like last year and a half ago, maybe 2 years since I've been streaming, I've finally been like, okay, I'm going to work my way through all this crap. I'm going to make up something to do with it, right? Like, I don't know what that is, but it's something. And get these rings out of the way, you know? Get these projects done. And then get a setup where I know exactly what ring size I'm using or making or whatever. So, and as far as do I prefer machine cut over saw cut, right? For jewelry, I definitely prefer machine cut. Because I think for jewelry, I definitely prefer saw cut, right? I said that backwards. Because words are hard. So I think it just looks more professional, right? Not to knock anybody who doesn't do it that way. That's just my opinion, right? For the sculptures that I want to make, right? I want my sculptures to be relatively high-end. I want to move away from base metals and stick with titanium, stainless steel, gold, silver, right? And the sandworm ring scratches an itch in your brain like it should house Iron Man's reactor behind it. That'd be dope. So, where was I? For stuff like if you're just making butted rings, or if you're just making a shirt and it's just a costume shirt and it doesn't have to have any armor quality behind it, there's nothing wrong with using butted rings, right? I have 3 shirts that are made from butted rings. Moving forward, I want to make shirts that are riveted, which is I'm going to finish getting my riveting setup built and put together down here in the basement. So it's like, I am not a beginner. I don't make beginner projects. Not that my stuff is super technical or highly advanced or anything, or that I'm, you know, that I'm carving a path out for any other chainmail artist, but in order for me to get better, I have to have a more professional setup with more professional tools. And so that's what I'm moving towards. And so I don't want to do any more butted shirts. I don't want to do any more costume jewelry. So, but yeah, for the sculptures that I want to do, definitely machine cut, because I want to weld each and every ring, because that will give the sculpture some what do you call it? Like, I don't want anybody to like be able to grab and like force the chain on the sculpture open by just like leveraging it open, right? How difficult is it to move from butted to riveted? It's not. You need a couple of tools, right? And once you learn the process, okay, there's a bunch of videos of it on YouTube, right? But when you're making a coil for your rings, you got to have an overlap. So you got to have a special cutter to cut an overlap, or to be able to cut an overlap into each ring, right? And then you heat them all up to soften them, to take the temper out of them. You smash them down into where you have your overlap, where you're going to put your punch, where you're going to punch a hole for your rivet, and then you rivet them, and then well, I don't remember if it's tempering to try and put some of the hardness back in once you've woven all the rings together. But it's, you know, you want to do it in a well-ventilated area because you're heating up steel rings, or whatever material you're working with. So I would go and watch several YouTube videos on it before I would try it, and you know, because I haven't done it, I'm building that station, that area, collecting the tools, and my goal is to have an anodizing setup. I've got a welding setup, a coiling and cutting setup, a riveting setup, all by the end of this year, and we're gonna get there, and all my basement projects done. So that way I have the ability to be a fully functional chainmail shop. You want something made out of chainmail, you know, you want butted, welded, riveted. You want it an anodized titanium riveted chainmail shirt. Okay. That'll be $50,000. But I'll make it, you know. Is there a starter kit for trying this out that you can get? Matumbo, how are you tonight? So, I have some thoughts on what you should do first if you are interested in learning how to make chainmail. My first recommendation would be go to the link tree in my profile and download the MailWorks app. It's free. It's available on Google and Apple. And there is a link to my website in there. Go to the suppliers section and start looking at all the different suppliers in there. There's a couple of them, like Chainmail Joe, We've Got Mail, and Metal Designs, that have kits. More specifically, a starter kit would be Chainmail Joe's starter kit. I believe it comes in bright aluminum and anodized aluminum, but I still haven't checked. And it has the option to come with 2 pairs of pliers. It's this beautiful chainmail print box, and I want it just for the box. There is a bunch of different ring sizes in there and a tutorial book on how to make each different weave, or how to make a bunch of different weaves. So a lot of people have been really happy with that particular starter kit. And it's a great place to start. If you don't want to spend that kind of money, right, you can go and find 2 pairs of pliers laying around the house and go to one of the other suppliers like Metal Designs or We've Got Mail, and they have kits that you can order, right? And I would definitely recommend ordering a kit first, because if you go and you order a bunch of different ring sizes, you'll end up with a bunch of stuff that, you know, you didn't have a plan for what you were doing. So my recommendation is don't do what I did, which is order a bunch of random ring sizes with no plan on what you're going to do with them, and then have them sit around for 2 decades, and then get a hair up your butt to use them all up, and then be forced to come up with weird solutions as to what you were going to do with them, right? So don't be like me. Get a kit. See if you even like see if you even like making chainmail. It's super fun. I love doing it. I do it all day long, every day, and it's the only thing I plan on doing for the next 40 years, outside of family stuff. So I hope that helps. All right, I'm not going to get to finishing this chain tonight, but this has been interesting. So, I started out with the goal of making a ring out of sandworm. Said goal has been completed. Now, the circumference on this and the diameter on this are a little smaller than what I wanted. I wanted to make one of the little dragon scale pine cones. So I'm going to play with some more weaves and see if I can... You're very welcome, Matumbo. And if you have any more questions, I'm here like 8:30 to 10 Central Standard Time. 4 nights out of the week, most weeks. Sometimes more than 4. I try for more than 4, but yeah. So I want to make a little Ringception dragon scale pine cone, right? Where the rings used to make the pine cone are made of chainmail weaves, right? So I don't think that this is the right weave. We'll keep playing around. I have some other ring sizes that might work. I don't know. And then I might make 1 or 2 more of these and just make a chain of JPL, or I don't know what. Make something. So, well, the worst case scenario, we have a bunch of these rings woven together, right? I only have so many of these. And, you know, we do something with it later. The goal is to use up the rings, and that much is being accomplished. So, stay tuned. We've got a lot more stuff coming. Not tonight, but I ordered more rings for the Finnegan's Wake inlay. I have several other projects that need to be worked on, but we're getting somewhere. We're getting big projects done, slowly but surely, and all these little projects are getting cleaned up. So, as time goes on, we will finish up all these basement projects and get all set up as a fully functioning chainmail shop, which I should have done years ago. I just never did. I didn't have the drive. I didn't have the energy. But now this is all I do. So if you want to learn more about how to make chainmail, or you want ideas, or you want to just sit and chill with someone making chainmail and listen to me ramble on, like I said, I'm usually here 8:30 to 10 Central Standard Time most nights of the week. And if you do want to learn how to make chainmail, go to the link tree in my bio. Download the Mailworks app. It's got all the resources I would have wanted when I first got started making chainmail 28 years ago. And if you want to purchase something made of chainmail, you can ask me, and if I have something in that area, great. But if not, there's an artist section in the Mailworks app, right? And these are people that have stock of chainmail stuff already made, and they take requests and do custom work, which I'm not set up to do right now. So, now, it is 10 o'clock. It is a school night. I do have to go make sure that my child is in bed, and I do appreciate all you people hanging out. It's been a lot of fun. We came up with something kind of cool. But I do have to get going. So you all have a wonderful evening, and I will talk to all of you later.